If you think that your book is done when you finish that first draft, got some news for you. Hello everyone, my name is Kat. I'm a German girl who writes children's fiction in English. I've also been working as a professional writer and editor of non-fiction for the past 5 years, so I definitely have made a lot of mistakes and seen other people make mistakes when they revise and edit, so this is a collection of some of those mistakes. Mistake number 1 is lack of editing and lack of revisions. Once your first draft is done, you are far from done. No matter how good of a writer you are, your work will need more than a spell checker to be the best it can be. Your work will need to undergo some serious revisions, which means to look at the overall arcs, to look at internal logic, plot holes, all these kind of things. And only then you should go on to looking at your sentence structure and word choice. And only once all of these things are locked in place, you can do those final spell checks, and then you are hopefully done at some point. Mistake number 2 that newbie writers make when they revise and edit is not letting enough time pass between their first draft and their revisions. If you don't let any time pass between writing your first draft and self-editing, you will miss so many mistakes because your brain still kind of remembers what you meant to say, so it will just skip over mistakes or fill in the blanks. So really allow yourself to have a break and then go back to your work and look at it with fresh eyes. And you know whose eyes are fresher than yours could ever be? That's right, pretty much everybody. Because they don't know what you meant to say, they're not in your head, so they will catch your mistakes pretty quickly. This leads me to mistake number 3, which is not giving your work to others to read. You need critique partners, alpha readers, beta readers. They will catch so many things that you would never even have thought about. To give you an example, in one of my books, I only noticed through my first alpha reader that I had built up this entire mystery of the villain's identity only to never reveal it. Because for me it simply wasn't important at all. I'm so glad that I had my alpha reader because she was honest enough to tell me that this was a huge letdown, so I could go back and change it. Mistake number 4 is getting defensive and dismissing criticism. The first reaction that we can have to negative criticism might be to dismiss it, to get defensive and to justify our choices. I definitely did this, especially early on in my career, when I worked in places where there was a lot of performance pressure and where maybe the criticism I received wasn't phrased in the nicest way. But here's the deal. Hopefully you are going to get published one day. And then you can't go around and explain your work to everybody who reads it. If one person doesn't get it or stumbles over an awkward phrasing or weird word choices, there's a good chance that this will happen to the next person and the next person and the next person. So when I'm in an environment where I can trust people's choices, I will take their suggestions 99% of the time, without comment, without questions asked. But even if I choose not to accept someone's criticism, I will still do so in a polite and respectful way and also thank them for their criticism. Mistake number 5 that newbie writers make when they edit is a lack of flexibility, or differently phrased, they put too much importance on their original vision rather than the final outcome. I think the lack of flexibility happens subconsciously because we spend so much time with this original draft that we kind of lose sight of alternatives and different solutions. In one of my books, I made up this plot twist that one of the characters was the uncle of my protagonists all along. When I gave the draft to my alpha reader, she pointed out to me that this created a bunch of plot holes all throughout the story, and I was so bummed out because I knew it would be a lot of work to fix those plot holes. I couldn't really come up with a solution. And then she asked me a very important question. Does he have to be their uncle? Does this plot twist need to be there? And the answer was no. So in the end, I just cut out the scene completely. My alpha reader was completely right, and I'm so grateful for her for giving me this outsider's perspective, allowing me more flexibility, because otherwise I would have tried and worked really hard to fix this plot twist and to the plot holes that come with it, even though it didn't have to be there to begin with. And yes, I totally understand. It can be so hard to cut out a scene or a character that you really like and that you've worked so hard to create, but I'm always in favor of letting go of anything that doesn't advance the story or add to it. Mistake number 6 that newbie editors make is not knowing when to stop. Editing takes a lot of attention to detail, so I totally understand that it's easy to get carried away and that it's also very easy to fall into the trap of trying to make it perfect. So here's a reminder. In writing and publishing, as with so many things, there's no such thing as objective perfection. Everybody has different standards, everybody has different things that they like and they don't like. So your writing will never be perfect to everybody, and it will probably never feel perfect to you. But at some point you just have to ask yourself if you are really improving your writing, or if you are just finding new, different ways to rephrase over and over what you've already written. Mistake number 7, and the last mistake on this list, is not giving your work to a professional editor before publication. If you're planning to be traditionally published, you don't really have to worry about this step, because your work will undergo a lot of revisions with your agent, and also once it's with a publisher, they will of course professionally edit it. But if you are planning to self-publish, you cannot skip this step. You need to hire a professional. You can't just give your work to your friend who's good at spelling or your teacher. Your friend who's good at spelling probably doesn't know what a non-breaking space is. And your teacher probably won't check if you actually used an ellipsis or just typed 3 full stops. So there are those and a million other things that would never even cross your mind. So definitely don't skip this step and hire a professional. This was my list. Please let me know in the comments if you can think of any more mistakes or if you are guilty of some of them. I know I definitely am, but that's what we're here for, right? To learn from our own mistakes and also other people's mistakes. So share your experiences in the comments. Subscribe to my channel if you would like to hang out with me once a week. I would be so honored if you did. You can also hit the little bell icon if you want to get notified every time I upload a video. And also follow me on all of my social media. I will link them down below. I'm Kat Sperling Books pretty much everywhere except for Twitter, where I am K Sperling Books. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you very soon. Bye!